p.m., and I will read some introductory remarks. This open meeting of the Northborough Select Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. All members of the Northborough Select Board are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The Act allows the Northborough Select Board to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of the meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. I will go around the virtual room and make sure we can all see and be heard. My name is Mitch Cohen. I chair this merry group. In the order on the screen, Laura Zeiton.
Here, aye.
Julianne Hirsch.
Here.
Kristen Wickstead.
Here.
Lisa Maselli.
Here.
We also have with us Interim Town Administrator Bob Reed.
Here.
And Assistant Town Administrator Becca Meekins.
Present.
We also have Northborough Cable with us tonight to guide us along with the technical aspects of the meeting. First on our agenda is public comment. Are there any members of the audience that wish to speak to something, whether it be on the agenda or not, but ideally not on the agenda, since you'll have the opportunity to speak up during the agenda items? Going once. Going twice. I see no hands raised, so we will get right into the meeting. First agenda, we have 4 sets of meeting minutes: July 6th, July 17, July 26, and July 31. Wow, we met a lot in July. So would anyone like to make a motion on the first set of meeting minutes?
I move the board to approve July 6, 2023 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Lisa, seconded by Julianne. Any discussion? All those in favor: Lisa.
Aye.
Julianne.
Aye.
Kristen.
Aye.
Laura.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. How about the next set?
I move the board vote to approve the July 17th, 2023 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion been made by Kristen, seconded by Julianne. All those, any discussion? All those in favor: Kristen.
Aye.
Julianne.
Aye.
Laura.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. Next.
Mr. Chairman, I move the board vote to approve the July 26, 2023 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Julianne, seconded by Kristen. Any discussion? All those in favor: Julianne.
Aye.
Kristen.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Laura.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. Approved. And the last set.
I move the board to vote to approve the July 31st, 2023 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made by Laura, seconded by Julianne. Any discussion? All those in favor: Laura.
Aye.
Julianne.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Kristen.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. Those are approved. Well, we're very efficient tonight, but I can't promise we're going to be so quick with the next several motions on our agenda. So next up, we have public hearing, which I will open the public hearing to consider an application for new wine and malt beverages package store license as submitted by AC Fresh Interiors, LLC, doing business as White Cottage for premises located at 290 West Main Street, number 2. And I know we've got a couple of people to bring in, and I will take care. Oh, they were very conveniently put White Cottage right in their names. Good planning and good marketing. So while Cheryl and Alicia come on in, welcome. I want to make one minor note to a memo that was included in the packet from the office. This doesn't impact the application at all, but the memo from the office said that there would be 3 of this type of license remaining on the assumption that we approve tonight. That will look like a typo. It was a miscategorization. So there are 0 after the approval tonight of this type of license. There are a couple of wine and malt license types in this particular category. This will be the last one that is available. So I just want to make sure the public was aware of that difference from the agenda packet. Cheryl and Alicia, if you want to turn on your cameras, unmute yourselves, and then identify yourselves, and we'll get started.
I've got my camera on, but I'm not coming on. Are you on, Cheryl? Let me mute myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Make sure I don't have any.
Start video. Is yours on?
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on. How
Okay.
are you?
Two of you are together.
Can you see us?
Yes, we see you
On both.
and hear you fine.
Cheryl has us on her phone, and I've got us on our laptop.
Okay, great.
Thank you for having
Alright,
us here tonight. We appreciate
sure.
it. We really appreciate it.
Okay. And could you just identify who is who?
So I'm Alicia Garbarino. I'm a resident of Shrewsbury, Mass, and the co-owner of White Cottage.
And I am Cheryl Meyer, and I too am a resident of Shrewsbury, Mass, and a co-owner of White Cottage.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm also going to bring in, and we've got you on two screens, so I'm going to eject one of you so that there's not confusion.
Okay,
Let's
you
eject
can eject Cheryl
Cheryl
Meyer
Meyer,
because
White
that's on
Cottage.
our phone.
Okay. Okay.
We just got on. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Okay. And I'm also going to bring in Lieutenant Brian Griffin, who we always ask for feedback on these. So Lieutenant Griffin, bringing you in here. So I understand White Cottage has applied for a wine and malt package store license. And tell us, for the benefit of for the audience, where this business located, when you plan on opening, and a couple of other things about the business, if you could.
Yeah, I will start out. And again, my name is Cheryl Meyer. I'm one of the co-owners of White Cottage. We've been in business for about 10 years and 11 months, almost 11 years. We started actually working out of our homes and then moved to Grafton, where we were there for 3 years, and then moved over to Westborough, Mass, where we had a storefront, where we were there for 3 years. And now we've been in Northborough for a couple of years. And by far, this is our favorite location. The foot traffic has been wonderful here. The customer response has been wonderful. We had started out as a design business, but we have evolved, and we now offer jewelry, gift baskets, gift boxes, and we are constantly trying to provide new offerings for our customers. And our gift baskets actually came out of COVID, when we were trying to kind of survive during that, unexpected time. And this has actually brought upon how we've wanted to start this liquor license and add wine to our gift baskets, which has been a big part of our business, and our customers have actually been asking for it for a long time. So we're very excited about this next opportunity.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions from the board? Julianne.
I have a whole bunch of questions. The first one is for you, Mr. Chairman. Did you say we have 0 licenses left?
Yes. So of this particular category, so Diane in the office sent us an email earlier today, and I will find it. I'll just read it verbatim. So, hi all, I just realized that in my memo dated regarding the new wine and malt package store license, I noted that there would still be 3 available if this were to be granted. This is not correct. I was mistakenly thinking about wine and malt restaurant licenses. This would be the last wine and malt package store license granted under our quota. I will note that there has not been any interest in wine and malt package store licenses for a long time. So that's just a difference from the memo that was sent out today. It does not impact this license application at all, but it's more for awareness that that this is the last license available, as opposed to there being 3 left, as it said in the agenda packet. Does that answer your question, Julianne?
Yes, but I would say that it kind of does impact my decision, because not having any left is I think we should keep that in the back of our minds. But Anyway, my next questions are for Alicia, and is it Cheryl?
Cheryl?
Cheryl, yes.
Well, first of all, welcome. Your store is
Thank you.
really beautiful.
Thank
And so you mentioned that I guess I misunderstood. Are you already somehow offering gift baskets with wine?
Not with wine. We're offering boxes and gift baskets, but not with wine yet.
Oh, I see. Okay. So s- I I'm just kind of curious, why this form of expansion? Because your business does seem to be more in home
Well,
decor.
it was during COVID. We were nervous about having to shut our doors. And what kept us, we kind of had to figure out a new way to stay in business. And so we came up with boxes. Since we've started the retail job store, we've always tried to buy from other local businesses. So if you have bought a box from us, you know that the candle probably comes from Newburyport, the chocolates probably come from Salem, the cream, everything that we buy we try to buy everything local. That's important to our customer, and I think that was what got us through COVID, because they knew they weren't just buying from us; they were buying from other small businesses trying to stay in business. And we've stayed very, very. We really believe in that. So the boxes, once we launched them, they've stayed. We're still we're probably the busy. I mean, there's not a lot of places to get a gift that comes out packaged and ready to go. We wrap everything in cellophane with a ribbon. We have very good prices. We feel like this is just another opportunity to keep our retail business afloat, because right now, I have to be honest, retail is off. It's off across the board. Our
Mhm.
plaza's been quiet. This is a way that we can help keep our business going and offer customers what they've been asking for a while.
So obviously, and I think I can speak for everyone here, we want to do everything we can to support small business. My concern is, and maybe I misunderstand, maybe somebody, Becca or Bob or Mitch, can clarify for me. If you get this license, I mean, you're going to use it in a very responsible way. You're just going to do gift baskets. But if you leave that storefront, the next person there would just have to get a transfer, and they could do a full-on package store.
Well, they couldn't do a full-on package store because they don't have the liquor license. So I guess they could ask for a transfer for
Right.
wine and malt. But the people we have, what's it called next to us?
Festive, gathered provisions.
Gathered, who took over for the wine store there.
Yep.
And we've talked to them about this. We're friendly with her. We're not in competition with her. She knows we're going for this, and seems very supportive of it. They are not doing a huge wine business next door. This is not, and I feel like in a town that has a lot of liquor stores, this is kind of the perfect solution, I would think.
Well,
I don't.
I would agree with you, but and as you said, we have enough liquor stores. There's no need for another one. But it's my concern is 30 years down the road, is this going to be, if you decide to move or retire, this could potentially be another liquor store easily because of the transfer of license. So the only thing I can think of is, and this would be a question for town staff, is there a way of granting a liquor license with kind of conditions that it would be only for gift purposes or on a limited basis, and couldn't turn
Can I make one more point? I was in the wine industry for a long time, and I feel like it's rare that someone's going to go to just a wine or a malt store that doesn't have liquor, and this isn't a true liquor license. So whoever, I guess, asked for this transfer would probably be doing something similar to what we're doing or what Provisions is doing next door. Because if you're going to go out and buy, it might be a deli that offers wine or a deli that offers beer. It's not going to be a true liquor store. Nobody would want this license the way, because it's intended to just add on to your business, not to really be the sole purpose of your business.
Yeah, Mitch?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, if I could, I would agree with that. I mean, as you know, you're allowed a quota of certain licenses by the state depending on population. And if, I don't know whether all alcohol was mentioned, but you have 4 of those allowed and all of those are being used. So you have no all alcohol available. And I would agree with what just was said. There's not a lot of money in wine and liquor package store licenses. I mean, restaurants may have those for their patrons, but as far as a package store, that's probably why we have one available and why Diane said in her memo there isn't much demand for those. There's just not much of a demand for wine and malt package store licenses.
We have some examples here if you'd like to see examples of how we think these baskets would look and the vision that we have by supporting other businesses as well as putting the wine in there. We didn't know if you guys would like to see some of those.
Sure. Yeah, give us
A lot of visual would be really
Visually good. So
helpful.
let me-
This is really
Do you
what
wanna
we
grab the- do
do.
you want to grab them?
So I'm gonna kind of grab
We're
this.
visual people.
We're
so
very
not-
visual
Can
people.
you see? Oh, right now. So this is the first one. This is can you see it, Cheryl?
Yep.
This is an example of like a holiday basket that would have, this product is from Hanover, Mass. This is from Newburyport, Amesbury. We could go cookies. We probably have a holiday cookie in there and a basket and 1 bottle of wine. This is an example of, can you guys see a birthday basket that would have, a local cream in it, like a little champagne and some local popcorn. This is one of, we do a lot of, we have a coastal vibe. We do a lot of work down the Cape. So this is an example of, we actually make our own candles, Whitehaven, a wine, a hydrangea book, and some napkins. And we've got like one that says "Stay Anchored" with the wine, candles, local candles, and a local sign. This is how we would use the malt part of the license. We would do something like, this is a fall basket, which has, we could go cookies, Harbor Sweets caramels, a little pumpkin, something from a sign from Hanover, Mass, and a couple of high noons in it. This is a dad basket. We would, of course, do Cape Cod chips, a sign from Hanover, a beer maybe from Framingham, Davidian Brothers dressing, a Bee Hoppy. They're out of Wormtown Beers out of Worcester. We
just lost your camera, by the way.
Oh, we did? Oh, wait.
So probably.
That's right. I think you've given us a good.
Got it? And we also have our coffee roasters in here. We've got stuff from Davidian.
How do we get you back?
Oh, I got there. That should be it.
Okay, there we go.
We've
Now I
got
see it.
Davidian. We've got our Mino. We're trying to. This is what we do. This is what we really believe in.
Great.
We feel like we're very specialized. And again, it's not like, of just a package store. We are a very specialized custom gift shop. And we really think this opportunity would be an extension of our business to provide new offerings for our customers and constantly evolve. Because like Alicia said, retail business has been very tough. And I think this would be, a great way to diversify. We are always trying to think outside the box at White Cottage, try new things, keep our inventory fresh for all of the customers here locally and, in surrounding New England towns.
I want to add that we're also WBE certified with the state of Massachusetts, which was a long process it took us to get certified for, meaning that we're a women-owned business. We're part of the supplier and diversity workplace, and they came and visited us. We went through a ton of hoops to get
a process, yeah, and we just renewed it, so we are a certified women-owned business through 2026. As of right now, we renew it every 3 years.
Great. I'll continue with the hearing. Julianne, did that complete your questions?
Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you. Lisa, I think I just saw your hand up.
Yes, thank you. And I too have been in your store, and it's wonderful.
Hi, Lisa.
So,
I recognize you. Yep.
yes. Oh, you see me.
Yeah, we see you.
Oh no. I really, I love that. I love feeling like I'm in Chatham when I'm in Northborough. But there's also a little bumper sticker that Chatham has. It says a quaint little drinking town with a shopping problem.
I get that.
I'm beginning to think that we have that a little bit here ourselves. But so a couple of, obviously going through the board of just questions. I did speak with our lieutenant who's right here with us tonight, and I'm a little confused. I know that I guess there's two types of licenses, of what's called a pouring license and what's called a packing license, which is what makes up the packing store and what makes up the restaurants, I guess the difference. Is there subdivisions of that, Lieutenant Griffin?
I think what Alicia had said earlier, as far as the package store goes, you have the full liquor license, which is separate than what they're asking for. They're asking again for the wine and malt. So you have that being one license, and then the full liquor license, which is typically what your package store goes for. That would be your other license. And then you have a pouring license, which is what your restaurants get.
Okay.
And my knowledge is that in Massachusetts, we've got on-premise and off-premise. On-premise is restaurants, and then we've got off-premise, which is retail stores. Retail stores can be wine and malt, or have a full liquor license. Same with on-premise and off-premise. So there's actually 4 categories, if that helps answer your question.
That's correct.
Okay, and so you would have, like, if you wanted to do an open house with wine and cheese, or to let people see some of your baskets, would you be able to do that in the store? Or no, you can just only have.
No, so we can't. We actually used to be able to, as a small business, do that. We went through insurance, but now going forward, if we had this license, we'd have to contact the board and say on Saturday, October 12th, we'd like to pour wine. So you would know, and you'd have to approve us to be allowed to do that.
All right, so we actually do that with Tugus and Wegmans, and
We have something like that on our agenda tonight after this.
The
Yeah.
one-day liquor license.
yes, the liquor license. Okay, so so in thinking, and as you say, I'm a big retailer myself, and it's becoming more and more difficult. I mean, it's the competition, the availability. It's not what it was, and I'm afraid, I hate to be the tighter, but I don't think it's ever really going to come
I don't
back.
think people are buying online now, and that is what it is.
Yeah, and that's what happens with all sorts of, as time comes by, new things come in and replace the old things so quickly that there's no longer the mom and pop feeling that we once were able to just go ahead and do. Now it really has to be computer present. And in the mall, I have to say that this is what our nicest mall, I think. The appearance.
We agree. We love this location.
It's wonderful, tenants, wonderful ambiance. Just the way it was put together is lovely. I wish we could have a few more like that.
And it's almost all women owned. I'd like to say too, all the retail stores are women owned.
Is that right?
Besides the Mexican restaurant and the Japanese restaurant, it's all women owned.
Yes, and yay.
Yeah.
So, but some of the things too in that mall is that you have a Japanese restaurant and a Mexican restaurant, and then the new
provisions
that came in, and I don't even know how old that is. That's relatively new, right?
Yeah, within a couple months. Yep.
So there's like 3 right in a row there that provide, drinking ability. And then you would be the 4th. And I'm a little concerned, and absolutely nothing in reference to what you two ladies have done. So we had just given a liquor license a few months ago or a year ago, and then they came forward and asked for another one. And the mall is now turned out to be riddled with neon signs and signs everywhere you can find it. And it's a call, come and see me, see me, see me. And it's just so carnivalish that I'm not saying that your store will do that.
You would never do that.
No, I know that. It's, again, if you don't stay, would anybody be able to go back and do some of that? Would they be able to? And that might be another question. Can they take that license and add it to have a full liquor license, or does it always remain a malt and beer for that premises? That would be one of my first questions.
Lieutenant Griffin, you might be, or Bob.
But you don't have any all alcohol available, and that would have to come back before the board if you did.
So would it, Lieutenant, you were going to say something?
Yeah, through the chair, I would agree with what Mr. Reed said. We had one just recently that same plaza actually that we're talking about, where it was an established business with the package store license, and they sold, and the new person who came in had to go through the whole process that was presented in front of the board. So if that were the case in 20 years from now, Alicia and Cheryl decide to sell, the whole process would have to start again through the board, and at that point you could approve it or deny it.
Can I say one more thing? Is there, I feel like, I mean, granted, this is our business, but is there another place you'd rather see a wine and malt license than a place like this where we're really not promoting drinking? And I know Provisions has immense, if you looked at the depletions in that store, that was purely a wine store that was next to us. All they really sold was wine. And I mean, they wanted to sell more gourmet, but it really was just wine. She's really just selling food and maybe wine. I don't know that I've never seen anyone leaving with wine. They kind of pushed her into taking that. So I feel like, if anything, there'll still be less wine leaving this plaza than there was when you had a full-on wine store here.
So there was a wine store there. I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
there was. It was a full. That's all they did was wine and a little bit of food, but it was really just specialty wines.
Yeah, interesting.
And again, ours will be walking out of here, gift basket, gift in a pretty
in saran wrap with a ribbon on
gift
it.
basket with a White Cottage sticker and a ribbon ready to gift.
Yeah.
So it's
But
not.
are you saying that if somebody just wanted to get just a bottle of wine and take off, yours is probably not the store they go into?
They wouldn't come to our store for that. And I think our idea is to have gift baskets ready to go, but also if they want to come in and buy wine, they can, but it's going to be put together with other things. No one's going to come to our store just to shop wines. We're not looking to, that's not what we're looking to become.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not speaking of your store. I'm speaking of something later. And the concern, and again, I wish we could have 10 of you, right?
Thank you.
I'm just concerned that what happens later has been a little bit of a surprise when things aren't working and somebody else comes in, and it's a, we have so many malls, so many strip malls, and so many of those strip malls have liquor and dog and some restaurant, but it's at this point I'm a little concerned, not with you ladies, again, love the store, love all of it, but I'm concerned about after you.
And I guess we can't, we don't know the future, and I feel like we shouldn't be punished for something that
and I'll repeat what
we're trying to keep our business going right now. I guess that's all I can say. There's nothing.
I mean, we are, this is really the happiest place that we've been in, and we have no intention of leaving. It's a wonderful community.
For 11 years we've been in business.
Yeah. So again, like Alicia said, like, I hope that we aren't punished for what could be in the future with someone else down the line. I mean, we really are just trying to continue to grow our business. And
I don't want you to even feel that that's the concern.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I appreciate the concern because I do get it.
Thank you.
Lisa, does that conclude your questions? Okay. Laura, I see your hand up.
I love the creativity and ways to support and bolster your business and different things that you're doing to combat how retail has changed. Will you be able to ship your gift boxes?
So right now, I talked to the ABCC. So we can't ship in so you can ship wine within Massachusetts, but it has to be approved by the ABCC. So it'd be a whole nother. And I talked on the phone with them a few times, and it wouldn't even be worth exploring until we got this license. And then once that happens, somebody has to be there that's 21 to sign for it. It's a venture. So
Got it.
I'm not going to say we haven't even discussed that.
Right.
I'm not going to say we'll never look into that if this takes off. But right now, I spoke with the ABC. It's a lot of work, and he even told me how much work it is. So
I was going to say, I can speak. Alicia has a very extensive background in this industry. So she really does know the ins and outs of all of this. And so we're not going down this next venture blindly. We've done our research, and she has so much experience that she,
not so much,
but she's got a lot.
Not that much, but yeah.
I like the creativity though, and if it means that you can really build your business and Northborough can be your home and you're supporting several other local businesses, I'd love to, anyway, but thank you. I appreciate
you so
appreciate
much.
it. Thank you.
We understand all these questions and concerns because
Yeah.
it's a wine and malt license. We get it.
Laura, does that conclude your questions?
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from members of the board? Lieutenant Griffin, I'll turn it over to you. I know you have reviewed their application. Any comments to us?
No, Mr. Chair, there's nothing to report back. Background checks came up great. And I think Cheryl put it well as far as Alicia's background prior to owning the White Cottage, working in sales in the various liquor distributors will help her in this new project as being a store manager and manager of record.
Great. This being a public hearing, well, actually, before I even open it up to the public, I'll mention my comments, which is I congratulate you on a few successive years in Northborough thus far, and I hope you stick with us for a long time to come. It's great to hear that of your, I think you said 3 locations, that Northborough is your favorite. That's good to hear. When any business chooses to locate in Northborough, we're all very happy about that. And for myself, I have no concerns about this. I appreciate the concerns expressed by members of the board, but of course, any transfer later to any other business for a different purpose would have to come back before the board for approval anyway. So,
Thank you.
and I think that the type of business that you're doing is unique. It is not simply you walk in and you have shelf after shelf after shelf of wine and beer. You're looking to make this a component of an existing business, and I think that's great. Again, this being a public hearing, I will open it up to members of the public. If anyone on the Zoom would like to raise their virtual hand, and I already see one, I will recognize you. Rick Leaf, I'm going to allow you to talk. If you could unmute and identify yourself and let us know what's on your mind, Rick.
Yeah, Rick Leaf, 30 Wiles Farm Road in Northborough. I'm chair of the Master Plan Implementation Committee. As you know, we've been working feverishly on a downtown revitalization. And a lot of the comments we got from residents as we did the master plan and the downtown revitalization went around stores just like this, that there's a lot of interest in these kinds of stores. I think people would like to see more of these kinds of things in Northborough. I know the store has done a good business so far. I know this isn't located exactly in the study area where we're doing the downtown, but this business fits the profile of what people fed back to us in the master plan study. And I would just think that it would make sense to authorize this particular use. I think it fits in really well what we're hearing from residents in town for what they'd like to see. So those are my comments.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public that wish to speak during this public hearing? Going once. Going twice. I don't see any other virtual hands raised. Any other members of the board or staff have anything to offer before we close the public hearing? Okay. Before we do that, I just want to confirm what we were told by our office is that you have enrolled but not yet completed the TIPS course. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we're taking it on Monday. What day is that? The Monday, the 21st. And then we're also taking, which I think is actually way more comprehensive, a class through the Package Store Association. They're out of Westborough, and they focus just on package stores and how to run a package store and the rules. Where TIPS is good, but TIPS also doesn't apply to every town in the state. This is way more, and we've got our staff going as well. And that is on September 11th at 6 o'clock.
Okay. So I would ask that that any motion to consider approving this be contingent upon completing all required coursework. Okay, great. I don't see any other hands up, either of audience or of board or staff. So I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Lisa. I'll give the second to Kristen. Any other discussion?
Can I say one more thing? I feel bad. We had a bunch of local businesses that have purchased, client gifts and through us the last few years. We actually they wrote letters for us and we submitted them, and I forgot to mention that today because I wanted to just do my due diligence and say thank you, because they wrote really nice letters about us and that they hope that we get this. So I wanted to mention that they didn't do it for nothing.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. This does not grant or not grant. This just closes the hearing portion of it. So all those in favor of closing the public hearing, Lisa?
Aye.
Kristen?
Aye.
Julianne?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. The public hearing is now closed. Alicia and Cheryl, thank you very much. I'm going to send you off to the participants list. If any questions come up during the subsequent deliberations that you feel that you want to add anything in, raise your virtual hand. I'll be happy to bring you back in. And Lieutenant Griffin, unless you have anything to add, I think this probably concludes your work with us. But again, I'll send you back to the attendees list in the off chance anything comes up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Have a nice night.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Take
Appreciate
care.
it.
Thanks.
Sure. Oops, I think everybody, there we go. Everyone's back to where they belong. Okay, so next is the deliberation on granting the license. Any comments or questions, or would someone like to make a motion?
Are there no more comments? Any more comments? No? Okay. I move the board to approve the application as submitted by AC Fresh Interiors LLC, doing business as White Cottage, for a new wine and malt package store license for the premises located at 290 West Main Street, Unit 2, with
Contingent upon successful completion of all required coursework.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, I hear a motion from Lisa, second by Julianne. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Lisa?
I'm going to abstain. I'm just,
Okay,
no, but I'm just abstaining.
okay. Kristen?
Aye.
Julianne?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor with one abstention. Congratulations, the license has been approved. Thank you very much. Next up on our agenda, Tugas Family Farm. And I think it's Carrie is the one we're waiting for that, correct? Yeah, Carrie Ward. Okay, so Carrie, I'm going to bring you in.
Didn't we already do something very similar to this for
We
two?
did. Yeah, a few months ago, we did it for a few dates, and I think these are a few more.
Okay.
We'll hear more about that soon. All right, Carrie, if you could turn on your camera if you'd like and unmute.
Sorry about that. I'm not technologically inclined. Okay.
That's all right.
Hi there.
Do me a favor for the record, just identify yourself.
Sure. My name is Carrie Ward, and I'm one of the managers at Tugas Family Farm.
Great. And my understanding is you're here for a one-day, a couple of one-day liquor licenses, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So, I don't know if I'm going to explain a little bit.
Sure, that'd be great.
So, back at the beginning of the summer, we had come before you to get approved for some special events. We did a lot of work with our insurance company and preparing for that. And then we pretty much got rained out every weekend that we tried to have a special event. So didn't quite go, as successful as we had hoped. And so out of that came a conversation of just trying to come before the board to see if we could add additional days throughout our fall season. And I had talked a little bit with Diane just about, what we were allowed. And then this, for us, the ultimate goal is to try to apply for a year-round permit or a license. But our thoughts were this year was trying to do the one-day events to get a better sense of, before we try to do anything like permanent, just thinking about the space we need and what's all involved with setting up that, because it is a little bit more involved when you're trying to go with the ABC and all that. So we were proposing dates, and it's pretty much every weekend, Labor Day through October, through Halloween.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. And so this for the benefit of those watching the meeting, this is not a public hearing because these are a series of one-day liquor licenses, which is why this is different than the prior agenda item. So members of the board, any questions?
I hope the weather works better. Sorry. I didn't mean
Well,
to
we
take
had
that
one
a
last
turn.
weekend. We had a good one last weekend. We had both days last weekend, so it was good. But and also I know, I mean, our intention for this was for us to try to diversify our business a little bit. We did unfortunately lose our cherry and our peach crop this year. So right now it's just been very, very slow and quiet. So the point of trying to do some of these special events was to draw people in to come and enjoy the farm, even if we didn't have a lot of fruit to pick, but still be able to come and get food and enjoy the day there.
Great. I'm sorry, just before I go to you, Kristen, Julianne, did you have your hand up a minute ago?
Oh, it was, you answered the question, Carrie. I was wondering if you were able to have any of your events, but you said you had one. And actually, I do have a question. What time does this go till? Like,
So we've been not like our whole hours that we're open. It's been 11. It would be like 11 to 4.
11. Oh, 11 to 4. Okay, because you close at.
We close at 5.
Okay.
But we stop, we stop serving food and stuff at 4. So
Okay.
that's when we try to shut things off so we can get people out by 5.
Harry, I'm sorry. Aren't you open Fridays for ice cream? Late?
That was another thing, which it also rained every Friday night that we tried to do the late ice cream, but we were trying to do Fridays and Saturdays until 8:30.
Okay, so that's no more.
No.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Kristen, I know you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, so thanks, Carrie. Can you remind me what alcohol you'll be selling?
Sure.
What kind of beverages?
Sure. We've been working with Stone Cow Brewery, which is out of Barry, and they actually brewed this past weekend. We actually had a strawberry beer that used our strawberries, so that was exciting. We got to serve that, and that's a unique vendor for us because they only serve on other farms. So they serve at their farm. They don't distribute anywhere else. So it's kind of a unique thing that you can only get a couple places. And then we've been working with Carlson's hard cider in Harvard, Mass. So they used to self-distribute, but they no longer do that. So we ended up joining up with Atlas Distributing Company. And so those are the main two. And then last weekend we used a blueberry beer just because we're trying to highlight blueberries, Wachusett blueberry.
Okay.
But we're trying to keep it pretty limited. We don't want to have like a lot of options. It's like 1 or 2 types of beer, 1 or 2 types of cider.
Yeah. That's really great. And I do remember you telling me about Stone Cow last time because I was like, remind me because I'm pretty sure I asked this question last. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Anything from staff on this?
No.
No, I know Lieutenant Griffin did all of the background checking and everything else for the prior licenses. So I assume everything's in order there. All right. Is there a motion?
Yes, there is. I move the board vote to approve the application for a one-day special license as submitted by Tugas Family Farm LLC for events to be held at 234 Ball Street per the approved floor plan as submitted with the application. The event dates are weekends as follows: September 2, 3, and 4, September 9 and 10, September 16 and 17th, September 23 and 24, September 30 and October 1st, and September 7th, 8th, 9th. October 7th, 8th, 9th, October 14th, 15th, October 21st and 22nd, and October 28th and 29th from 11 to 5 p.m. with no rain dates. The license is approved with the condition that the precautions and systems are in place for each event as stated in the July 31st, 2023 letter from Tugas Family Farm.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Julianne. Kristen, thanks as always for reading the long motions that I always seem to assign to you.
You.
I do. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor. Kristen,
Aye.
Julianne,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Laura.
Hi.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. Congratulations, your licenses have been approved. I wish you good weather.
I know. Hopefully we've turned the corner.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for
For
joining us.
the
tonight.
crops, isn't it?
I know. Apple's starting next week. Getting there.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Next up, we have Rotary Club request to close Blake Street for Applefest Street Fair on Saturday, September 9, 2023, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. I know we had asked Skip and Pat Doyle to join us tonight. They had another engagement and weren't able to join us. So earlier today, I heard from the Doyles, and they asked me to simply convey that this is the street fair as always, always better, always more exciting than prior years. I believe more vendors are anticipated as compared to last year, and a greater variety of food vendors. For point of disclosure, I am a member of the Northborough Rotary. I'm not involved in I'm not on the executive board or anything else like that, but I will be one of many volunteers at the street fair at Applefest, and it's really a great part, one great part of a very large, important event for the town. So our only action is to close Blake Street during the hours requested. If anyone has any questions, whether it be for me or for staff, anybody else have anything? Lisa.
A quick one.
Sure.
Not to close Blake Street, but you think we might be able to get a selectmen's volunteer table there?
I'm sure that could be arranged if there were select board members that wanted to volunteer. It's a long day. I don't know what everyone's plans are, but we could do it. I don't think we have to vote on it, but I would say, Lisa, if you want to organize that similar to the way you did at the Applefest, let me know and I'll see if I can find a table for you at the street fair.
All right, thanks.
Sure. I don't make the decisions about that. Technically, there is a rental fee for the space. We'll see. We'll see if special exceptions could be made.
We just need help.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a number of hours. It really should have, at least one, if not two members there at any given time if we wanted to have that. There are a lot of Northborough organizations that have a space at the street fair most years. So there are opportunities to hang out and be visible and available through any of those organizations, many of which some or all of us are involved in. So if we can't do a select board table, I'm sure there are other ways of getting that across.
Sandwich board.
Yes.
All right, go ahead. I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? If none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move the board vote to close Blake Street on Saturday, September 9th, 2023, between the hours of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the annual Applefest Street Fair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Julianne, seconded by Kristen. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor, Julianne.
Aye.
Kristen.
Aye.
Laura.
Hi.
Lisa.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. See you all at Applefest. Next up, we have annual appointment of election workers. Town Clerk Andy Dowd was not able to be with us, but conveyed his request that we approve the election workers list as we do every year. I sent an email out to the board once I found out that Andy couldn't be with us tonight, so I didn't receive any questions back. But if anyone does have any questions, hopefully Bob or Becca would be able to answer them. Any comments or questions? Laura.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that takes the time to serve in these positions. And if anybody watching tonight is interested, you're welcome to contact the town clerk to sign up. and I appreciate, all the hard work that goes into our elections.
Thanks, Laura. Yeah, it's always nice to go into Milliken, where the voting takes place, and see all the election workers and how happy they are, and inviting and really excited for every voter that goes into the room. A lot of fun. Okay, if there are no other comments or questions, I will entertain a motion.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I move the board to vote to appoint those individuals who appear on the 2023-2024 election officer list for a term beginning on September 1st, 2023, and ending on August 31st, 2024, as submitted by Town Clerk Andrew Dowd.
Second.
Motion made by Laura, seconded by Kristen. Any discussion? All those in favor? Laura?
Aye.
Kristen?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Julianne?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. Congratulations, and thank you, Andy, for moving this forward. Next up, we have a discussion regarding the Lions Club sign. Briefly, I think a few of us got comments and questions from members of the public about the Lions Club sign that's on Main Street, that it had been broken for a little while. That's not a town sign, but a lot of people think everything in town is a town item. My understanding is the Lions Club was just waiting on a part, and that part is pending. Lisa, you asked for that to be on the agenda. I hand the gavel over to you. Let us know what's on your mind.
Very much. A little background for everybody. So the electronic message board that's located at the entrance of Blake Street and Route 9 was installed originally in 1980. And it wasn't, it wasn't electronic. It was a regular 4x6 sign that had movable letters. In 2012, the Lions Club came into the future and put an electronic sign in. And it has, it's been, well, time has passed. It's 2012. It's already 10 years, 11 years. So the electronics have changed. In talking with one of the Lions Club members, they're having difficulty keeping this sign working just because of its age and the electronics that were made at the time. And they want to, the intent of, I'm jumping around. So they wanted to move forward and get a new sign purchased and replacing the 2012 sign with something that's more current in terms of its electronic features. They're concerned because of the price is quite high, and that they're going to create an event or try to create some fundraising events to make some money with it. They want, and the intent of the sign was so that the town could put up messages and keep everybody current on maybe things that were going on, such as the town meeting and the taxes and whatever events might be coming up, like maybe even Apple Fest. In keeping that in mind, they are going to be moving forward to get pricing and want to be able to work with us to make a private public situation where they would get the signs and we would run the sign. So we would be the one responsible for putting up the messages and taking care of the day-to-day information on it. And I believe that if there was repairs to be done later, that they would be responsible for repairs. Again, because they would be the owners of the sign, but we would have some sort of memorandum of understanding. It's something that I guess we should get some more information on for pricing and things of that nature. I was asked to be the selectman liaison for that. I'm willing to do that, but that's where it stands right now. So until a new sign is purchased, I think they are going to just leave it unplugged instead of trying to get a part that is eventually not going to be, it's not going to be kept if you're going to get a new sign. And if they don't get a new sign, it's going to be in repairs quite often. So that's what I've learned.
Are you a member of the Lions, Lisa?
I am not a member, but somebody has told me that I should become a member.
If you are the liaison, that simplifies things a little bit. My suggestion, if the Lions Club wants to work with us on this, I think a lot of people in town consider that an important source of information. I know, they've always put up things about town meetings and elections and tax bills being due and things like that, as well as, events of other organizations in town. I think they've been a good partner in that. We should probably meet with them. I would suggest that an officer of the Lions Club send us a letter with what they're looking to do. We would put them on the agenda and have them here at a meeting and work through that.
Yes.
Would be the appropriate step.
Okay, well, that's the end of my story right now.
Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions on this item? Julianne?
Well, I was just wondering if where the sign is located now is really the best spot.
I think that's a reasonable question to ask if and when we meet with them. In particular, thinking about downtown revitalization, and the Blake Street area is one of the target areas for some improvements. It makes sense to ask that question, and to ask not just the Lions Club, but probably Master Plan. If they're going to be putting in a new sign, it makes sense to think about where is the best place for that sign, as opposed to just saying, well, it was the right place in 1980 or 2012. It might not be the best place going forward. I think it's a good place, but if we're going to be completely changing that area, it might not be the best place.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. I don't see any other hands up, so we will continue moving along. Next up, we have Town Administrator Screening Committee update. When we talked about the screening committee at our last regular meeting, there was a question as to whether we could add a second select board member to that screening committee. And I said I would, we didn't have that on the agenda, so I said I would place that on the next agenda, and here we are. So we can consider that. In the meantime, I did reach out to the existing members of the screening committee. Everyone that I heard back from expressed interest in continuing on that screening committee. As I think I said at the last meeting, it was a really good group, really good diversity of interests in town and experiences in town. There was one member, I think the representative from the Appropriations Committee, I didn't hear back from, but I also didn't follow up too hard. That we've left that up to them. If that particular representative isn't available or doesn't want to continue, they can find somebody else. I would not recommend changing the structure of that, other than if a second member of the select board had a lot of interest in joining that, we could do that now. So I'll open it up to thoughts, questions, and or volunteers. And Lisa, I see your hand raised very high.
We talked last time we were talking, and I think I said that I would like to be a part of that, and I'm saying it again.
Okay. Kristen?
I think it's a great idea to have Lisa added to that committee.
Yeah, back when we initially talked about forming the screening committee, one proposal that I made was to have two members on that, and think about, one member that was leaving, one member that was replaced by one new member that was joining. That didn't seem to be the way that the majority of the board at that time wanted to do things. So I think it's a good idea to have an additional member on there from the board. Certainly no objections from me. I anticipate we'll start meeting, sometime after the 1st of September. Details to be determined soon. Julianne, you had your hand up?
I did. Sorry to interrupt. Would you have one vote or two votes?
It would be one vote per person, so there would be two votes.
Okay.
I will say that typically these committees don't have a lot of split votes. So if there's a concern about a tie vote because there would be an even number of members, I don't think I've ever seen that on any screening committee on which I've served.
No, my question was, collectively, would the selectmen representatives have one vote, or do you each get your individual votes, but you're saying you each get to vote?
Yes. Yeah. Each member gets a vote.
Okay.
There's not really a way of having group votes. I don't even know if that's possible under the open meeting law. But yeah, it's a good question. Any other comments, questions?
No, I agree. Thank you for volunteering, Lisa.
It's almost a case of everybody standing in line and you all step back.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think we've concluded discussion on this, and I think there is exactly one additional member interested in joining the screening committee, and it is Lisa, in which case I will entertain a motion to that effect.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the town administrator screening committee membership be expanded to include a second select board representative, and that representative be Lisa Mazzelli.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Julianne, seconded by Kristen, and then Laura, but I'll give it to Kristen because she spoke up first. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor, Julianne?
Aye.
Kristen?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Would have been surprised if you had abstained on that one. I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. Lisa, congratulations. I'll keep you up to date as to when we begin those meetings. And again, for those on the board and those at home, we decided at the last meeting that we would wait until after Labor Day to start the advertising process for the next town administrator situation. So, sometime after that, we'll get together and meet probably with MRI, our search consultants, and begin the second phase of the process. Okay. Next up, we have set meeting schedule for September through December 2023. In the agenda packet, there were 2 meetings proposed for September, October, and November, and 1 for December. I put in the draft motions, discuss adding a second one for December. December is a busy month with holidays and everything like that. I also anticipate we'll probably have a lot going on, given the vacancies and interims and everything else that we'll be discussing. So I think it might be worthwhile to consider adding a second date to December. I'm also fine if we want to not do that and just schedule one as needed. Thoughts, questions? Kristen, then Lisa.
I would like to schedule it as needed, because there's a good chance we'll need it, and I think we're all open to it. But if we don't really need it and we just have a few things on there that, I don't know. It's a busy time of year, so that's my thought.
Lisa?
I'm actually saying that I think we could do one and maybe December 4th. I looked at the calendar. I think because it's so busy, I'd almost rather say if we didn't have anything special, we could maybe cancel it, but I think it's better to have the 2 and be able to, work around the year is going to be very busy for a lot of things, but I think it's kind of important that we're going to have so many new people and new things going on. So that's my 2 cents.
We'll say that in years past, December was frequently the month that the former town administrator would give a group meeting, the financial trend monitoring presentation. I don't know whether any members of staff will want to put that together this year. That could be during a December meeting, and that could end up being one of those meetings. But we're a couple months away from even being able to ask that question.
I'm honestly, I'm fine with either of those options, whichever direction we want to go in. It seems like we can put it there and change it, or we can not put it there and add it in based on availability. So I'm comfortable either way.
Thanks, Laura. Julianne, I think I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I think we should schedule December 4th and 18th. There's so much to do, and we can always cancel the later meeting if we find we don't need it.
Yeah, I lean towards penciling it in for both dates, both the 4th and the 18th, so that it's on all of our calendars, and it's on staff members' calendars and everything else, so that if we do need a second meeting, we're not scrambling to find one and it turns out people scheduled other meetings or other events. If it turns out we get into December and there's not a lot that we need to have a meeting for, we can cancel, either one of those, whatever makes sense. Okay, Julianne?
The other point is between the November 20th meeting and December 18th, which is one of the suggestions, that's a month.
Mhm.
That we probably will need that earlier meeting. So I think it should read December 4th and 18th.
Guys caught me trying to be lazy again.
we miss lazy Kristen.
I know. Lazy Kristen is so disappointed in you.
You made a valiant effort, but yes. Okay. All right. So I think I see essential consensus on this, in which case I will entertain a motion to set these next meetings.
I move the board to set the meeting schedule for September through December as follows: September 11th and 18th, October 16th and 23, November 6th and 20, December 4th and 18.
Second.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by everybody. I believe I heard voice slightly ahead of Kristen's. So I'll give it to Julianne. Any other discussion? All those in favor: Lisa?
Aye.
Julianne?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
Kristen?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. We have our next meetings. Next up, we have reports. Let's see. Kristen, any reports tonight?
Yeah, I would just like to say to everyone who's come and volunteered at the Econo Lodge, because I feel like that's been a very big part of my life as a Northborough person, as a select board member, but just as a resident and a general welcomer of these families. I would just like to say thank you so much to all the volunteers who have been coming and doing their best in that tent or otherwise to make these people feel at home and feel welcome. And we have the big clothing drive. We had and then we have lots of meals, 2 meals a day. And I've been going on weekends, and it's been very moving. And I think it was Laura who said to me a while ago, like, just lots of emotions. So I was really glad she said that, because I was glad I wasn't the only one who felt that way, because I just want the best for these people. And their kids are so cute and they're so grateful and lovely. So anyway, my poem obviously is, I haven't read a poem in a while, but does anyone know who wrote the poem that's inscribed on the bottom of the Statue of Liberty? I lost a trivia contest once because I didn't know this. Emma Lazarus, never forget it. Oh, sorry, Bob. Sorry. You're like Laura with your seconds. You're just not quite fast enough.
All right, I thought we were gonna have like a theme, like Jeopardy, and have some time, but no.
No. But anyway, so I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm just gonna read the last 2 lines. Send these, the homeless, tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. I think that's sort of the best part of it. And I think Northborough has embodied that. So thanks to everybody.
That concludes your report, Kristen?
That concludes my report. Thanks.
Okay, sure. Laura, any reports tonight?
I have to concur with Kristen and the big feelings. I definitely appreciate the outreach from everyone in our community who has been helping our guests. And it's been a very emotional experience to see people with what they've gone through and eager to, everybody's pitching in over there. They're appreciative of all the help. And I'm just so thankful for the response from the community. So, and I appreciate everything that town staff has been doing. I think that the volume of work that's gone into this is really extraordinary. And I appreciate the flexibility and how everybody is adjusting on the fly to really make this work. And I realize how overwhelming, there's a lot of work in addition to what we regularly do. And I hope, with the uncertainty of our time, that we'll find a good way to make this a manageable experience for everyone. And that concludes my report.
Great. Thanks, Laura. Julianne, any reports tonight?
So while we're all together, I was hoping we could discuss some of the details of our goal setting meeting, which has been set for August 28th, 7 p.m. in the Selectmen's Room in person. So here are some of the things we have to discuss. Okay, so room setup, I think you would agree that we should be around a table, correct?
Yeah, so somewhere we could all see each other, which is difficult in the standard layout in that room.
Right. Is there a way of doing it, making it hybrid? Owen, are you there?
I mean, the answer is we can fake it. We don't have a hybrid setup yet. I've seen one draft proposal through the cable department thus far, and I think others are. I think one of our September meetings they plan to come and present to us and request some funding for hybrid meetings. But we would basically stick a laptop somewhere and fake it. So if there was, you're talking about if a board member can't make it in person?
I think we all agreed we can make it in person. So that would just be for the general public, but it will be recorded, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I am not anticipating that this, because it's not a regular select board meeting, that we would probably not have public comment agenda item or anything like that, but it is a public meeting that anyone could attend and would certainly be recorded.
So I wanted to talk about that. I think,
Okay.
I think after we've discussed our goals, it would be, I would love to hear if any public comments.
Okay. It is, Bob or Becca, feel free to jump in. My understanding is we would really not be able to have a quality hybrid meeting set up in that room.
Yeah,
until
Kathy had started getting some estimates on the equipment necessary. I've talked to Dana about it and finishing it off. And I think that he'll have something to the board shortly. But I mean, as far as what you're looking at for a true hybrid meeting, you won't be able to make the equipment changes in time for that meeting. No. I think what you need to discuss is when and how you want to do it, and if you want to use ARPA money for it and move forward and make the changes. But I think you should have an estimate on the equipment necessary from Dana pretty soon.
Okay. Well, even if it's not hybrid, I would love to hear from anybody who comes to the meeting to listen to our discussion. I would like public comment at the end. So I guess that's up for.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a public comment agenda item on that. But if someone, it would be more typical is we would talk about some particular goal item and someone would raise their hand and have some input for that. I always encourage those type of comments.
Okay, so I will take minutes, but I'm wondering if we should have like some big boards like we did at the church for the ARPA discussion. And is there anybody who wants to be a scribe, just kind of writing things down so we can see them as we bring up topics?
I'll write them if you want.
So
any of your handwriting is better than mine.
I mean, if anybody thinks these are bad ideas, just let me know. Like unnecessary.
Yeah, I think some of those things we can figure out. Julianne is sort of the primary organizer of this. I think if there are items you think would benefit us at that meeting, such as those large Post-it notes or anything else, I would suggest work with Diane on making sure that they're available.
Okay. All right. so I think that that's just, everyone should start thinking about their goals. And I can tell you right now, mine fall into categories of communication, finance, projects, and then other. So start thinking about brainstorming and having a really fun meeting. The second thing is that I attended the visit by Capital Environment at White Cliffs, where the crew came in to look, to just do the kind of like a walkthrough to see where they were going to then test for mold and asbestos and lead. And so those reports should be, that testing might have been done at the end of last week. But I do want to comment that one of the gentlemen said, just walking in, that he was so surprised at how the inside of the building looks much better than he had anticipated. And this is another funny thing to bring up, but we're not going to meet until after Apple Fest. And Kristen and I did what would you call it? A sample of children about whether or not they wanted candy.
Yeah, we Julianne and I have had so many conversations about whether or not we should throw candy in the Apple Fest parade. So yeah, it was awkward last year because we didn't have any. So my vote is yes, even though it's bad for them.
I think I do that, or the lollipops that we picked up. Because got a lot of Jolly Ranchers.
We have
Right?
many pounds of Jolly Ranchers remaining from what I bought for the concert, which the intent was I knew we would have leftovers. I think the Jolly Ranchers work well throwing, better than lollipops because of sticks.
Right, the Jolly Ranchers aren't as good for little kids.
Yeah. Yes.
Honestly, if you have it in a bowl, you can kind of police, and mothers and fathers can kind of police what their kids grab. But when it's lying on the street, like, you're going to get toddlers eating Jolly Ranchers with the wrappers on or with the wrappers off. It's just, I don't know. So this is an important agenda item, right, Bob? Bob's like, I can't believe I'm sitting here.
You're reading my mind.
He's got the best candy, though.
Actually, yes. Bob, what candy should we get?
Yeah, Bob.
Snickers. No, you'll put somebody's eye out.
It'll melt. That's the sad part about it.
Tootsie Rolls are a little bit better. I think they're easier to chew, and they're pretty popular at Apple Fest.
Oh, okay.
That's my.
Want me to get some Tootsie Rolls too?
Yeah.
All right, I'll get some Tootsie Rolls.
Okay.
All right. We'll continue this off.
Important discussion.
That ends my report, thankfully.
Thanks, Julianne. Lisa, any reports tonight?
I have so many reports. First off, I have to say, congratulations and thank you for the years you served to Kathy Dalglish. She's left the building. She and Elvis have gone out of the building, but thank God Kathy is still around so we can talk, get information and what have you. I understood she already had a staff party to which I didn't get an invitation to. I don't understand that. Oh, I'm not staff. Well, anyway, I think she's a magnificent addition to our Northborough family, and she's done a magnificent job through all these years. And I just wanted to really highlight how much I appreciate it, and everybody else, I'm sure, does the same. So that's one. The second is about, of course, the volunteer program. I forgot to mention it the last time we had reports, so I have to kind of catch up. So on July 23rd, the Community Affairs Committee's summer concert at Ellsworth Park garnered 8 new interested residents. I've contacted 2 of them who have responded back. Well, I sent a thank you note to everybody, but then I heard back from 2. And I'd like to again do it for the August 20th festival, which is going to have Billy and the Jets, and that's from 5 to 7. So I'd like to be able to get some more volunteers from our group to go back and walk about. So you can get a hold of me off camera. And I'm hoping that we can get some more volunteers, obviously, to fill the wide vacancies that we have. I'd like to thank the Community Affairs Committee for their gracious sharing of their events, and congratulate the fabulous summer concert series for this year. And the third report was I watched the town hall feasibility study committee, and again saying that that's something that I want to be a part of. I'm a little concerned at the time frame and how it looks like it's going to be an awfully long time to get things completed. I was interested in the 4 buildings that they spoke of, which was 4 West Main, 63 Main, which is our current, the White Cliffs, and the fire station as it exists now, that would be vacated when they move into the new fire station. So Pierce Street, I don't have the address. So I was kind of interested in how those 4 buildings came about, and very concerned with the fact that most definitely the fire station would be something that you'd be looking at 5 to 10 years down the road. And I don't know why they were chosen. So maybe you can shed a little light on that, and also how I can be part of that committee. And that ends my reports for the day.
Thank you. And on my reports, just a couple of things. I was also going to mention the finale to the summer concert series at Ellsworth McAfee, Sunday at 5 p.m. Billy and the Jets is a really nice cover band or tribute band to both Billy Joel and Elton John. And I wanted to provide a little bit more on our new arrivals that were placed here by the state. Have already been mentioned. A few people. I get a lot of questions about that, so I will answer them as best I can. Some of the answers are we don't know yet. As has been discussed before, we have roughly 30 families that we're hosting, and by say we, the state is paying the bill on the motel, and nonprofits are paying most of the bills on the food. Roughly 100 people. There are a number of children in the group. One question I get is, well, if they're here after, on or after August 31st, will they go to Northborough schools? The answer is yes. We're certainly obligated to educate all children located within our borders. The school department is aware of that, and I would, encourage anyone with specific questions about that to contact the school department or the school committee with that information. Currently, at least last I heard this morning, August 30th was the date at which the room rental was booked through. Everyone seems to assume that it will go longer. So how long will they be staying in Northborough? We don't know. Officially, the answer is August 30th right now. Everyone seems to think that will change. We are all hoping that a service provider can take over the operations. In not just years past, but weeks past, every time the state would place a group of new arrivals somewhere in the Commonwealth, they would also match the town up with a service provider to take over all the needs. And that's not just food and basic needs, but helping with immigration paperwork and DTA cards with the modern equivalent of food stamps, and all the other work permits and all of the other things that that folks are very, very interested in. Those service providers are maxed out, and there are none with any availability right now. And we've probably talked to all of them. I don't know if the state's, the governor recently set a state of emergency over this issue, because a lot of cities and towns in the Commonwealth are having to deal with this. I don't know if that will change anything at all. Most of our guests do now have DTA cards, so they're able to start doing some of their own shopping. They're going to some local stores, some local restaurants, and I think that's very good. I mentioned that most of the food is being provided through nonprofits that can bill the state directly. So the town is not incurring the bills on all the meals. We're helping with some things, in between, make sure they have fresh fruits and things like that, with the expectation that we will eventually be able to bill the state for that. We're still working on that process. So the vast majority of the costs associated with the new arrivals are not being covered currently by the town, at least the hard costs go. A lot of neighboring towns are going through the same thing. Southborough, Westborough, Marlborough, and Hudson all have recent new arrivals since the little over 3 weeks ago that ours arrived in Northborough. And a few local cities and towns, particularly Shrewsbury and Worcester, have had some for longer than that. I mentioned that the governor declared a state of emergency. We don't know exactly what that means yet. And lastly, I want to thank, as others have done, thank the town staff and the volunteers who have really done marvelous work helping these folks out. I am the volunteer coordinator, and I've received so many emails of people anxious and eager to help out, that finding times where they can go is hard to do, because all the slots get filled very, very quickly, except every once in a while there's something that opens up, and I email people in panic. But for the most part, that's worked out very, very well. All members of the board have been there for multiple meals and know what it's like. They're a great group of people. They're so happy to be here. They are anxious to get working and get everything in order. And I'm very happy that Northborough is able to play host to them. At the same time, it is very, very draining on town staff, which concerns me, because those staff are, they are here for particular reasons. Dealing with emergencies is one of them, but dealing with emergencies that take up a vast majority of their time for weeks on end really is not appropriate. So the hope is that we can find an avenue. I've used the term finding an off-ramp several times. I think that's appropriate, whether that is to a service provider that can completely take it over, or potentially hiring somebody that we can bill the state for to deal with that, so that our staff people primarily can get back to work and doing the things that the town also needs them to do. They're great people doing great work, and I'm not at all suggesting we pull them off the site and leave people to fend for themselves. That wouldn't be appropriate at all. But I think over the next couple of weeks, we have to start looking at how we can shift this burden around a little bit to a way that, if they are there long term, we need to have a long-term solution. We don't have that yet, but I know a lot of folks are trying to find ways to do that. And that concludes my report. Last, we have some cemetery deeds. Would someone like to make a motion? We actually have 2 cemetery deeds and 1 transfer.
Wait, do we want to see if Bob or Becca has any?
Oh, yes, that's a very good idea. Bob or Becca, anything to add to our meeting tonight?
I do. I was going to wait until after business was concluded, and I know she's going to hate me for this, but I can't let the meeting pass without recognizing the resignation of Becca Meekins. I think that she's done outstanding work for the town. I can't put, like, as I wrote to the board, I can't put into words what a loss this is going to be. I would have been lost without her here. The next interim is going to be lost without Becca here. So go easy on that person, whoever it might be. But I just want to wish her the best formally, have it brought up at this meeting. And I just think she has a tremendous capacity for work. The amount, I've just gone to her continually. She's just done a fantastic job, and I wish her the best.
Second.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate that.
I'm glad that was said. I was concerned that it wasn't my place to say it, but I'm certainly happy to be giving you the same kind of accolades. I think you've done a fabulous job, and I'll have a little black friend who will probably be wagging his tail saying, yes, that's true. So
Thank you.
my
Thank
Cody.
you.
Yeah, good luck, Becca.
Yeah.
I was concerned too, so I was glad Bob brought it up. I wasn't sure if it was like still a secret or something, so that's why no
Yeah,
one was mentioning it.
I had such a busy work day today, or else I would have reached out directly, Becca, and not just, say how sorry we are that you're leaving, but congratulations on what sounds like a very exciting new gig, and and to ask if it was okay to bring it up tonight. But since Bob did, congratulations.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. So my understanding is your last day with us is the last day of this month. Is that correct? Okay. And assistant town administrator is an appointment of the town administrator, not of the select board. So that's up to Bob or our next interim to figure out the best way to proceed on that. And speaking of next interim, as I think everybody knows, we have a meeting in a couple of nights to interview the next round of interim candidates, since Bob will be departing in the near future. But the assistant town administrator thing is not something the select board has direct involvement in, but probably an indirect involvement.
Yes, and I think that there's going to be a serious gap, because it would be my recommendation, and it's going to take several months, because as you mentioned, Mitch, the recruitment will start after Labor Day, but it'll be several months before you have someone on board. But I genuinely feel that the next town administrator should make that selection, make that appointment.
Yeah, I tend to agree, so that once we choose a town administrator, they can choose an assistant that is complementary to their skill set and interests. But then how do we deal with that gap between now and then, which we will definitely have. That's that. Any other reports tonight, either Bob or Becca? Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Cemetery deeds.
Yes, Mr. Chair, hold on one sec. Let me find my motion. I move the board vote to execute cemetery deeds 1171 and 1172.
Second.
Motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Laura. Any other discussion? All those in favor, Kristen?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Julianne?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. And we have, for the first time that I remember seeing on the board, a transfer of a cemetery deed. I guess what can happen is if someone acquires a cemetery deed and doesn't use it, whether it be invisibility or choose for other long-term plans, they can transfer that to somebody else, and the board has to approve that transfer. That's what is before us tonight.
I move the board, Mr. Chairman, I move the board vote to execute the transfer of cemetery deed A929.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Laura, seconded by Julianne. I think it was a tie, but I'll give it to Julianne. All those, any other questions, comments? All those in favor, Laura?
Aye.
Julianne?
Aye.
Kristen?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor, so that's approved. And does anyone have any other business to come before the board this evening? I see nothing. Is there any public comment? We have one attendee. If anyone has any comments before us before we conclude. Going once, going twice. Public comment is closed. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'm not sure who seconded that. Kristen, did you second that? No. Okay, so I'll motion made by Julianne, seconded by Lisa, to adjourn. All those in favor, Julianne?
Aye.
Lisa? Lisa, I didn't hear.
Aye.
There we go. Kristen,
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
I also vote aye. Vote is unanimous in favor. We are adjourned at 8:37 p.m. Thank you very much, everybody.
Have a
Yeah.
good night. Thank you.